Hey everyone. So this October, my favorite month of the year, marks the 5-year anniversary of one of the most notorious Karen videos of all time. From the era before Karen was even a popular moniker. People didn't say Karen, they said, they assigned other monikers like Barbecue Becky, Apartment Patty, Water Bottle Wendy. And the footage was undoubtedly pretty wild to witness. A man who was apparently trying to get into his obviously luxury apartment building being stopped and aggressively questioned by a woman who appears to be not staff, not management, but another renting resident, just a tenant, and then followed this guy all the way to his door. Though it was apparent to most viewers that the man was refusing to answer her questions or present proof of his tenancy out of a sense of principle of the thing, Apartment Patty took it as a tacit admission of guilt, remaining ever suspicious until the actual literal moment he puts his keys in the door and bids her farewell. Let's take a look back at one of the most infamous original Karen videos of all time.
I can. Do you live here?
We answered that question. Excuse me.
I'm sorry. The keypad is right there.
I understand that, ma'am.
You can film me. That's fine.
I understand, ma'am, but you're blocking me.
Into my building.
Okay, and it's my building as well, so I need you to get out my way.
Okay, what unit?
I don't need to tell you that information. So excuse me, ma'am.
I'm uncomfortable.
Excuse me. Okay, you can be uncomfortable. That's your discretion. You're uncomfortable because you're you. I need you to move out my way, please.
No.
Ma'am, please stop touching me.
I'm not touching you.
You just was previously before.
I'm not touching you at all.
So I'm going to step in where I live.
I'm not touching you, and I'm not in any way doing anything outside of letting my dog go to the bathroom.
Okay, and I live here and you're blocking the door.
What unit?
I don't need to tell you that. What unit do you live in?
307.
Okay, great. I'm on the 4th floor. Excuse me.
No. You don't have a key fob. You are... No.
No.
If you have that, then okay.
Ma'am, you're not security. You're not the property manager. You're not Mike Herman.
No, but I live here.
Okay, and I live here too. You're not Mike Herman. You're not Rick.
I don't like the fact you have your phone in my face.
Okay, I don't like the fact that you're blocking me for where I pay.
All I'm asking is what unit?
But you're not. I don't need to tell you that information, ma'am.
If you want to come into my building.
It's not your building. You're not the owner. You pay rent.
Sir, you walked up on a street.
Yes, and I've already buzzed in. I've already
you
used
did
my...
not.
Okay, man, it does not even matter. Can you get out of my way?
No. Can you show me the key fob into this building?
I'm not showing you anything. And the second, ma'am, I'm bound to walk through where I live at. So.
No.
Okay.
Can you show me the key fob into this? No.
Excuse me.
No.
Excuse me.
Are you kidding me? Wow.
Call the police, whatever you want to do.
Where are you going? Do you have a key fob that looks like this? You can film all you want. I'm not being rude. I'm not being disrespectful. You walked into a building that I was taking my dog out and pushed your way in. No. Who are you going up to the 4th floor to see? No, I want to know who you're going to see.
So now you're going to follow me?
I am.
Why?
Because I would like to know who's friends and why you're here.
Because I live here.
And if you do, then I'd like to meet you because you're a neighbor. And
you didn't start off on a good note. I don't want to do no dealings with you. I'm going to my house. Where I live at, where I pay.
I would like to introduce myself then as a neighbor.
You just follow me all the way to my door.
As a player.
And you see my keys in the door. As a
record, I just want to say hi.
Ma'am,
what is your name?
Ma'am, you just, no. Have a good night, ma'am. Don't ever do that again. You look pretty stupid on video. Have a nice night. And my name's Mr. Tolls. Thank you.
So, as you can see, she seems only semi-satisfied when our main character, whose name is actually Darion Tolls, put his literal keys in the literal door and and walks into his apartment. And as it turns out, this wasn't actually enough for our story's Karen, because shortly thereafter, after watching him present the best possible evidence that he lived there that you could really ever think of, decided to call the cops on him anyway. According to what Tolls himself reported and Yahoo News reported, Tolls received a visit from police officers about 30 minutes after the conclusion of this video, with police telling Tolls that another resident had reported he made her feel uncomfortable. So after watching him put his keys in the door and walk in, she called the police on him anyway. Not only that, but I found this other video of Tolls alleging that our story's Karen apparently told police that he choked her.
Then she even lied to the police. She lied to the police department and said I choked her. Right hand of God.
And B, that the police who showed up sided with the woman in question.
I also probably should have recorded the St. Louis police response to it. That would have been hell of a video. Because the officers that was here literally just, well, you should have gave me your keys. You should have showed her your keys. I did. You see it on the video? Whatever. And walked out.
And when Tolls sat down for an interview, it seems like they only took small bits and pieces of what he had to say. And this is something that he says in later interviews that he did as recently as 2 years ago. It's not super interesting, so I may not even include it in this video. But he essentially says he felt like he was misrepresented by the media. Don't trust the media, XYZ. So Tolls expressed that he wanted this woman to be left in peace. That featured in every interview that he had, and not harassed because of this interview.
People are sick, man. They just got to get that the system, and then I think it takes open dialogue, it takes open conversations. People need to get uncomfortable and grow. I was kind of blown away, like shocked. Wow. I'm just glad I had my camera out, because if I didn't have my camera out, I feel that it could have went a totally different way.
Millions have watched the video online.
I appreciate all the love and support, and like I said, don't respond negative. Don't go after the lady. Let her be at peace. Let her live her life. I'm not even mad at her. I'm not upset with her. I'm not gonna go after her legally or anything like that. I wish her the best. Still have a conversation with her, a presentable conversation with her.
So naturally, immediately after Tolls asks this news station and the internet not to go bother or harass this woman, they do just that.
News 4 buzzed the woman's unit and also called numbers listed for her, but never got her response.
The woman in question here is actually named Hillary Mueller, and she, like Tolls, was a resident of the upscale Elder Shirts Lofts in St. Louis, Missouri. It's a weird name for an apartment complex. Now, the lofts, after doing some research, are part of a 30-unit, 5-story condominium complex with some pretty massive units for sale. This one I found is over 3,000 square feet and selling for only $440,000. Actually, wow, that's crazy. I live in California, and that condo in a major city here would be like $1.5 million, probably. Maybe it's time to move. Anyway, cost of living shock aside, a few things happened with Hillary after this apartment debacle, or loft debacle. Obviously, the internet started roasting her and calling her apartment Patty and Karen. Well, I guess Karen wasn't a thing yet, but definitely apartment Patty. Despite our main character asking the internet to leave her in peace, and inevitably they found out all kinds of things about her life, which then became, well, public knowledge. While the New York Times was the paper to tell the world her name, the internet keyboard sleuths managed to track down her employer and her husband. Now, we have to talk about her husband because Hillary made a claim shortly after this video went viral that her husband was a black man, in response to a huge number of netizens and news outlets insinuating, or outright calling her, racist. And remember, keep in mind, this happened right around the same time that Barbecue Becky, the water bottle permit lady, water bottle Wendy I like to call her, and Cornerstone corner store Caroline were all happening. So there was a white lady doing X weird gatekeeping thing to a black person frame around this story and video from the very beginning. And as a result, much of Hillary's public response to the video and subsequent numerous stories all over the news were about making her case that she was, indeed, not a racist. And her ostensibly black husband was a key facet of that claim. We'll get to the craziness of that whole husband thing in just a second, but first, in order to understand the rest of her case, we should refer to this exclusive interview that Hillary gave to Fox 2, where she hammers on just how seriously she takes the building's instructions not to let in residents who don't have a key fob.
So when I noticed an individual that I did not know, my only intent was to follow the direction that I've been given by our condo association board members repeatedly, and that is to never allow access to any individual that you do not know.
Thornton showed us several emails from the association stating what residents should do when dealing with a situation like this. Hillary says Dorian said he was trying to get into the building as she had the door cracked as her dog went to the bathroom.
And I simply asked if he lived there. Because the direction from the condo association is so repeated that if you don't know the person, you do not let them in.
Thornton adds she told him she couldn't let him in, then asked if he had a key fob.
That's the only indicator that any resident has that they live in that building. He would not answer me. He would not show me one.
She says that if he had one, he could have used it to get in and wouldn't have needed her to let him in.
Did he force his way in?
There was an altercation at the front door, and that's how he got into the building.
Do we see that on video?
You do not. The camera was pointed at the ground. But you hear me say something along the lines of, "Oh my gosh, are you serious?"
When you're called a racist, how does that make you feel?
There are truly no words. That is absolutely false and heartbreaking.
Yeah, did you catch that little smirk there when he asked the question?
And those are words that truly cut deep.
Interestingly, her fellow building tenant at Elder Shirts wholeheartedly took Hillary's side. And she does seem to have the receipts from the building management telling people to do this. It was shown in the background during her interview. Her fellow resident here backs her up by recounting a very scary incident she personally encountered in front of that very same apartment building.
Loft resident Lynn Schlosser was mugged 1 year ago in front of the same building's front door. She says she supports Hillary.
Would you have done the same thing?
I do it all the time. I've had even UPS drivers, FedEx, they'll stand there and look at me and they'll say, I won't even ask. I said, I'm not going to let you in unless you buzz the resident you're going to or have your code. It's in order to protect everyone that lives there.
No, I do not think that I did anything wrong. I upheld the ask of me to its fullest extent.
Okay, so Hillary says that this is about building security and has absolutely nothing to do with race. Her two essential points here are A, that her husband is black, and B, that building management takes security here very, very seriously and has been directing tenants to do precisely what Hillary did because of previous very serious attacks on their own tenants. And as far as A goes, her husband actually turned out to be rather successful man, the COO of a major real estate firm at the time, and more importantly, he did indeed identify himself as, quote, a man of color. But that's certainly not the only thing he revealed.
Hello, my name is Brandon Mueller. I'm the COO of the Maz Group Real Estate Advisors and the COO and co-founder of LiveLoft STL. I wanted to take a moment to express my deep disappointment in the incident that took place at Mr. Toll's home. The individual in the video and I have been separated for over a year, and I myself no longer reside at the Elder Shirt Loft building. As a man of color, I've spent most of my professional career teaching others the importance of diversity and inclusion. My only hope is that we as a community can use this as an opportunity to do what my late father taught me many years ago, to not allow others' ignorance to incite anger and hatred, but to use it as an opportunity to learn, grow, and promote love.
You'll notice how, rather pointedly, he doesn't do anything to defend her here from the racism accusations. He almost seems like he's quietly allowing them to stand, playing into them almost. That could be because it was a nasty breakup and he's playing into it vindictively to get back at her, sure. Or that he had to take a PR-style approach to protect his highly lucrative position. But it could also be that he really doesn't disagree, and maybe he saw some behavior out of her while they were together that jibes. Now, as far as reason B, we do have the testimony from the fellow flatmate that this is a really serious policy because she herself was mugged in front of that very building only a year prior, which means that there's probably some truth here because unless these two are secretly besties, which quite possible, they live in the same place, maybe they're friends. She's backing her up because they're friends, who knows? But she has no reason to take the controversial side over the safe one unless they are really close friends, which in my mind lends some credence to her claim that the building has been having some serious safety problems. But then that begs another question entirely. What the hell kind of luxury apartment building expects its guests to be responsible for getting into verbal and even probably sometimes physical altercations with anyone they don't recognize coming into the building? A place this nice should be hiring, and this seems obvious, security guards to protect the building from crazed would-be muggers, muggers, and any other manner of hooligans. Not sending out letter after letter telling the residents that the responsibility is now on them. What a weird position to put your clients in. And clearly it leads to stuff like this, and now your complex is all over the news, so you played yourself. You want security in your luxury loft building? Hire security guards. On top of that, why on earth would she call the police on him after seeing him clearly open his door with his key and then lie and tell them he choked her? Now, remember, this part was never actually addressed by Hillary, and the only evidence that we have to suggest it's true is his testimony. But the man did say hand to God, and a lot of people take that very seriously. They don't just throw that around.
Then she even lied to the police. She lied to the police department and said I choked her. Right hand to God.
And it suggests that there was some very unwarranted hostility and obfuscation on her part if it's true. That's obviously a crazy accusation to just make against somebody, and you'll notice how she never mentions it again in any part of the interview or anything like that. Meaning either Tolles is lying about that part, or she knows it was a lie and thought no one would find out she did it. In the end, Hillary Mueller, who I guess actually would be going by her maiden name, Hillary Thornton now, was fired from her job at the property management company Tribeca STL over this incident. There was punishment. With the company choosing not to believe her side and citing, quote, racism and racial profiling as the reason for her termination. It said, the Tribeca STL family is a minority-owned company that consists of employees and residents from many racial backgrounds. We are proud of this fact and do not and never will stand for racism or racial profiling at our company. After a review of the matter, the employee has been terminated. But what do you think? Was this an act of racial profiling, or was Hillary just doing what the apartment building had asked of their tenants, and would have done this to anyone who had been in Darian's position that day, regardless of their skin color or what they looked like or where they came from? What do you make of her apparently actually black after all ex-husband's refusal to defend her from the racism charges? All right, well that about does it for the harrowing tale of Apartment Patty, the key fob Karen. As always, I welcome your thoughts, feelings, and concerns in the comments below. I hope you will join us on our new subreddit, r/reckoned. You can give us video suggestions for future coverage, submit clips for my main channel, all that good stuff, or just talk to me or talk to other people who like freakouts. So hope to see you there. That's pretty much it for me. I'll see you next time. Bye.